Alright guys, good morning. It is time for another episode of the Duck Chronicles. I'm calling this Episode 18. Now they know what the fences mean, but I'm not talking about the babies, I'm talking about the adults. I do want to point out how quickly they make this water nasty. I literally just dumped and filled their water for the second time today. Went inside, got a cup of coffee, picked up my notes for today's episode, and walked back outside. And not only have they made a mess, a couple of them need to get in there and wash off, because they have really... There's one there. It's really muddied themselves up, and that just makes a duck happy. This was the coldest night so far that they've been outside on their own. It hit 28 degrees last night. I came out here about 2:30 in the morning when I got up, just randomly checking around the house. And you know what? They were all huddled together, but everybody seemed fine. Some of them were running around and eating. I figured out why they poop up their section so quickly overnight, because they get up about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and have a little duck party in the middle of the night. I guess that's to keep that growth going, and boy, you can tell they are still growing. I got some questions I want to answer. First, I'm going to actually go ahead and leave the babies and walk around while I answer these, because I got a lot of stuff to cover with you today, and if the iPhone goes more than about 10 minutes of video, it's a real pain to try to upload to YouTube. So let's step on out. Let me get a sip of coffee, and I'll answer these questions as we walk around. Watch out, guys. All right, so babies continue to move on. Little piece of advice from Jack. When you move your duck tractor, and they've been there for a night and they've been pooping it up like that, that stuff is slick. Do not walk there. You can throw seed there, but until it dries up, if you walk there, you might end up flat on your back. I don't know that from experience, but I know it from almost experience. You can work it out from there. As we walk around, I want to kind of show you where we're at now. The fences are done. We have some upset geese. Like I said, now they know what the fences mean. So, everybody's out here, and I'm going to show you our main way we'll access things till we put in some proper gates. You see I moved their water there. But one of the questions I had was exactly what do the adult ducks eat? How much food do they use? How much do they forage? You know, are the eggs profitable? The eggs are definitely profitable. They eat the same feed that the babies do, just a different mix. They eat a flock maintainer and a layer ration to give them a little bit of extra calcium. I give them basically both. But I want to show you before I even go on, there's a little alleyway here. Nice gates. So what we'll end up doing is probably moving this barrel. This barrel actually catches the water from the air conditioner there. And we put that water to use out here. We got to figure out how to relocate that. But we'll probably replace this gate with something a little more fitting with a nice dog door in it. And then we and the dogs can each be accessed from the front to the back. So the adult ducks eat the same layer or the same brand of food, a non-soy, non-GMO mix, but they do obviously graze a lot. If they didn't graze a lot, well, I wouldn't be putting paddocks in. So today when we put them out here, I'll show you a particular spot in particular that they ended up working once they realized they couldn't get back around there. We have this kind of sorry looking sort of pseudo landscaped area right here that just I haven't gotten to permaculturing it up yet. And they go through there, but they don't really work it. Well, today once they realized they were staying up here, they were in there rooting around for bugs and old acorns and all kinds of stuff like that. So they'll work this front half a lot harder now. And again, if they weren't getting a lot of their feed off of the land, I wouldn't be paddocking. I wouldn't need these fences because they wouldn't be grazing. So they get a lot of their stuff. I'd say they almost empty a 15-pound feeder once a day. That's 30 ducks plus 2 geese that live with them, Buddy and Joe. So that's what's up there. How do the geese get on with the ducks was another one I had. They sort of tolerate each other. I saw the first real aggression of a goose toward one of the ducks yesterday. I think it was Buddy, because she's nesting. It's going to be hard, but we may have to force her in with these other 6 geese to that area over there. I'm going to have to put their door in because the other female has started to lay there this morning. She stayed in when I put everybody on paddock. About an hour later, she wanted out and wanted to join the flock. They'll do that up till they go broody, but as they're kind of sort of in between going on brood, which means sitting on the eggs and not, they go back and forth a lot, and she needs to be able to get back there. So does Buddy. So this new paddock system strains that a little bit. But last year, I had geese laying in the chicken house. That's how they ended up having their own area. At first, they all lived together. And one of the chickens apparently got too close to the goose's eggs, and she flat out tried to kill it. She came out with that chicken with its wing in her mouth and was wing beating it. And I was standing right there by that fence, and I ended up throwing a cup of coffee at the goose to get her off the chicken. The chicken was absolutely shell-shocked. The ducks are tougher than the chickens, but they're still outclassed. That's a heavyweight, and I guess the ducks are a middleweight. So they get along okay, but especially when they're broody, not as much. Let's go follow the pack over here, the quack pack. I've been also asked what is the main role of the geese on the farm? If they only lay for a month and a half a year, and they're pretty destructive on things, what is their purpose? Well, there are little cows. Their smallest cow is the way to think of it. They eat almost extensively grass. When I say they're destructive, they chew on trees, they pull bark off of things, they yank strawberry plants out of the ground and stuff like that. But they do it mostly because they get bored. That's why they do it. So if we keep them occupied and keep them moving around, they're less destructive. We are going to cull some out, but the real purpose of the geese is we've been hoping to get a breeding population where we can produce a dozen or 2 dozen a year and process them for meat, because they'll go from goslings to big enough to process in about 11 weeks. They'll do it mostly on grass. So that's their main role, is to be a source of meat for the homestead and a mainline grazer, because my land isn't big enough for cattle. The Muscovy ducks may take that role over, but we probably would still keep Buddy and Joe around, just because I am a little sentimental over Buddy. Somebody also asked about the wire ties that I was talking about for the bottom of the fence being expensive, because they were $6 for 10. Those are 36-inch long, about 1 inch thick wide, 175-pound tie wraps for securing the bottom of the fence. The little ones I've showed you, they're $6 a hundred, and those are reusable. And I'll tell you what, on a homestead, reusable zip ties have 1,000,001 uses, so they're not really that expensive. Also, somebody asked yesterday, I was walking past my water tanks, and I said something about Dorothy's allergies, and they said, how do the water tanks have anything to do with her allergies? And that's not what I meant. What actually happened, guys, was if you go listen to that, you'll hear a sneeze in the background. I said, that's Dorothy sneezing from her allergies. It sounded really loud to me, and it wasn't as loud as I expected on the video, so that's what I was talking about there. The next one is, a lot of you guys have been kind of posting questions about permaculture, reading books and learning about permaculture, which, these are part of a permaculture system on my property. I don't want to go too deep into that with this series, because this is really about ducks and duck management, but there's a lot of great information out there. I have a whole series on permaculture that you can watch. There's like 16 episodes in it. It's really mostly about techniques, a little bit about the ethics and design science of swales. That's freely available. Best way to learn about permaculture, though, save your pennies and take a permaculture design course, a PDC. We can help you with that at PermaEthos if you want to do it online, but there's also a lot to be learned from going to an on-site location and going and learning there. Let me walk up my swale here. And you can see this was full about a week ago with water. So again, those of you that keep asking about mosquitoes and swales don't hold water, they infiltrate it. They hold it for a couple days. If a mosquito wants to lay his little mosquito larva in here, that's fine, because about 3 or 4 days later, before he's a mosquito, he's laying there dead, and whatever's left of him is being eaten by a duck. But this fence is now finished. I ran out of fencing. I overestimate always by 10%, and because of some other modifications I made, it wasn't enough. So I took one of my tractor duck panel, patented tractor chicken duck panels, and made a little Yankee gate out of it. So it just hinges right there on that side. So I can let them in and out as I please now. Again, they're not real pleased. Ducks don't even seem to realize it yet. The geese know. The geese have already figured out that they're confined to the front. They're not exactly happy about it, but over time, being creatures of habit, they will become accustomed to moving around, and this land will get richer and greener because they're doing work for me. And that, on the food issue, also when you think about that, for me, the eggs, yes, help pay for the ducks and their feed, and they make us a little bit of money. But the reality is I'd have to maintain 3 acres with a tractor and a mower and a weed whacker and a scythe and all kinds of stuff. These guys work for literally peanuts, because the main part of that mix that we feed them is peanut meal. And I feel that they are worth their pay and then some, because we have about 400 fruit trees in this area you're looking at right now that are fixing to blow up this spring, and it's in no small part due to all their work. So on some level, their feed is their pay, and if you can get, you know, 50, 100 of anything to work for you for peanuts, you're doing okay. We'll get back to you with another episode tomorrow.